Hello students, so let's continue with the MCQs. Now in this video, we are going to first see the MCQs which are based on convex lens. So the first MCQ is, parallel rays from a distant tree incident on a convex lens forms an image on the screen. The diagram correctly showing the image of the tree on the screen, you have to choose A, B, C, D, any one of these options. And we can see there are 4 ray diagrams drawn here. In each of the ray diagram, the incident rays are parallel to one another because they are coming from a distant tree and they are incident on a convex lens. We know that in such case, that is when the incident rays are parallel to one another, they converge at a point on the focal plane. Now, what is focal plane? A plane passing through the focus and perpendicular to the principal axis, so that the image is formed at focus. So, in this case, we see that when the rays are passing through convex lens, we know convex lens is a converging lens. The rays converge at focus and real and inverted image is formed, which is highly diminished. So, when we look at the 4 diagrams, first diagram A seems to be correct. A is correct because A is the only diagram where we can see real inverted image of a tree at focus. So A is the correct option. Now the next MCQ is, a student obtained a sharp image of the grill of a window on a screen using a convex lens. For getting better results, the teacher suggested focusing of a distant tree instead of the grill. So we see here first image of a grill of a window is obtained on a screen, and then for getting better results, the teacher suggested focusing of a distant tree instead of the grill. In which direction should the lens be moved for this purpose? We know that if we consider grill as the object, which is not very far away, not at infinite distance. So this is a case when the object is beyond 2f. In such case, real inverted and diminished image is formed between f and 2f. Okay? And when we consider the object to be a distant tree, it means object is at infinity. In that case, image is formed at focus. So the image distance has decreased now. Okay, so obviously to get the clear image, the lens should be moved towards the screen because now the image distance has decreased. First the image was between f and 2f and now it is at f. So D is a correct option. Hope you have understood this. Now the next MCQ is, just listen to the question carefully. In an experiment to determine the focal length of a concave lens, a student obtained the image of a distant window on the screen. To determine the focal length of the lens, she should measure the distance between the... Now there are 4 options given, but without looking at the options, we should first think, is it possible to get the image of a distant object on the screen in case of concave lens? No. Because concave lens is a diverging lens. So in this case, when the object is at infinity, virtual erect highly diminished image is formed at focus. So even we know that virtual image cannot be obtained on the screen. So first of all, this question itself is wrong. But you will find this question in many reference books which are nowadays available in the market, and they have given the option, correct option is, we know that object image is formed at focus, so definitely focal length should be distance between the lens and the screen. But here the answer is wrong, as image cannot be obtained on the screen. So be careful. Now the next question is, in optics, a medium which has higher refractive index is called. There are 4 options given. Now before we look at the options, or in fact before we think about the question, let us see in optics, let us see the question again. In optics, what is optics now? Optics is a branch of physics which deals with the study of light and light-related phenomena like refraction, dispersion, diffraction, interference and all. And optical instruments, it also deals with the study of optical instruments which are based on the laws of reflection, refraction and so on. So, in optics, a medium which has higher refractive index is called, we know that, so our concepts are clear. We know that the one which has higher refractive index is optically denser medium. N is C upon V. So if N is higher, it means V is lesser if we compare two media. Then the one with higher refractive index has lesser speed of light in that medium, and that is optically denser. So in optics, a medium which has higher refractive index is called optically denser. B is the correct option. Now, the next question is, a ray of light passes from an optically rarer medium A to an optically denser medium B. No refraction of light occurs if the angle of incidence in the optically rarer medium is dash. You have to choose one of the four options, and we know that if angle of incidence is no refraction of light takes place, if the angle of incidence in the optically rarer medium is, it should be 0 degrees. Because when the ray is incident normally, means it is along the normal at any point separating the two media, then I is equal to 0 degree and there is no bending takes place, so no refraction takes place. When I is equal to 0 degrees, the ray goes undeviated. It enters into the second medium but without bending. So D, 0 degree is a correct option. Now the next MCQ is, a ray of light traveling in air is incident perpendicular to the boundary of a parallel glass slab. The ray of light, there are four options, is refracted towards the normal, is refracted away from the normal, is reflected along the same path, does not get refracted. We know that D option is correct because this is a question just similar to the previous MCQ, only the language is different, wordings are different. In the first case, it was asked that there is no refraction which takes place when the light enters from rarer into denser medium. When angle of incidence is dash, we have chosen 0 degree. And here they have written, a ray of light is incident perpendicular to the boundary of a parallel glass slab. So here in this case, I is equal to 0 degree. You have to choose what will happen to the ray of light. It does not get refracted. So the question was put in a different way. Hope it is clear to you, students. Now the next MCQ is, a convex lens forms a real point-sized image at the focus. The object is placed at focus between f and 2f, at infinity at 2f. We know that a real point-sized image is formed at focus only when the object is at infinity. So C is the correct option. And in this case, when the object is at infinity, the incident rays are parallel to one another and they will converge at focus or at any point on the focal plane, as we have seen before. And remember, when the rays are parallel to one another and parallel to the principal axis also, then they meet at focus. If they are parallel to one another but not to the principal axis, then they meet at any point on the focal plane so that the image is formed again at focus. Now the next question is, power of a lens is measured in meter, centimeter, diopter or per centimeter. You know that P is 1 upon F, and when F is in meters, the unit of power of lens is per meter, which is called as diopter. So per meter, or we can say diopter, is the SI unit of power of a lens. And they haven't asked here SI or CGS unit. They have just said power of a lens is measured in. And we know that it is usually measured in diopter. Okay, so although per centimeter seems to be correct and seems to be it is the CGS, we can consider it to be the CGS unit of power of lens, but power of lens is generally measured always in SI unit, diopter. Now the last MCQ for today is, a ray of light is incident on a lens making an angle of 30 degrees with the principal axis. After refraction through the lens, the ray would travel. Now look at the diagram. This is a diagram, convex lens, and incident ray is making an angle 30 degree and principal axis is labeled, and we can see O is the optical center of the convex lens. Let us look at the options. Now we know from the diagram, if the concepts are clear, we know that the ray which is incident at focus goes undeviated. Okay, it means there is no refraction taking place. It will not bend when it is passing through the optical center or when it is incident at optical center. So when we look at the option along OB, this is definitely wrong. Along OB, that is along the principal axis, passes undeviated. Definitely correct. Passes undeviated because it is incident at O, optical center. So B is the correct option. But anyway, let us look at the other options also. At 30 degree in the direction to the direction OB. Now students, if we extend this ray, we know that the ray goes undeviated. So if we draw the refracted ray, which is which we get by producing this incident ray on the other side. So vertically opposite angles are always equal. So in that case, the refracted ray actually will make angle 30 degree with OB. So if we look at the third option, at 30 degree to the direction OB, that is also correct. It's not wrong. At 120 degree to the direction OA. Now, if we just, let me draw the refracted ray first. So see students, I have drawn the refracted ray. So it makes 30 degree angle with OB. And it makes 150 degree angle with OA. Okay, because sum of the two linear angles is 180 degree. So out of the four options, B and C both are correct because it passes undeviated true, and the second option, it is at 30 degree to the direction OB. Yes, that is also true because vertically opposite angles are equal. Hope you have understood the MCQ, students. And in such case, if you get two correct options in the given options, you can choose any one option which you feel is better. So we should prefer here passes undeviated, although C is also correct. So you can choose B or C. Okay. So goodbye students, we'll continue in the next video.